Good morning, students. So this is class 11th physics, chapter number 7, alternating current. In this lecture, I'll be discussing the solution of the assignment that was given to you in the last lecture. So let us begin with the first question. So the first question says the alternating voltage is given by 70 sine 100 pi t and a resistance is given of that of 25 ohm. Okay, so now you have to calculate frequency in first part and RMS value of current in second part. Now as you know, alternating voltage is denoted by V is equals to V naught sine omega t. So when you will compare these two terms, you will get V naught to be 70 and omega to be 100 pi. Okay, so from here, if omega is 100 pi, that means 2 pi nu is also 100 pi. So pi will cancel out and nu will come to be 50 hertz. So this is the value of frequency. In the second part, you have to calculate the RMS value of the current. Now you know RMS value of the voltage is equals to E naught upon under root 2 and IV is nothing but EV upon R. So when you will put the value of EV, that is E naught upon under root 2, so you will get IV to be E naught upon under root 2R. Now you know E naught, that is 70, and R is also given in the question, that is 25 ohms. So IV will come to be 70 upon 25 root 2. Okay, so the second question is very easy question. In that, value of L, C and R is given to you and you are asked to calculate quality factor. Now you know the formula of quality factor is 1 upon R under root L by C. So just put the values and you will get the value of quality factor. In the second part of the question, it is asking what is the significance of quality factor. So higher the quality factor, sharper will be the resonance. That is, high the value of quality factor you have, that means more sharper will be your resonance. So therefore we prefer to have high quality factor so that we can have high resonance, sharp resonance. Okay, now let us talk about third question. In third question, two graphs are given to you and it is asked you have to identify the circuit element used. Okay, so now in first you can see opposition to current, that is you can say resistance is independent of frequency, and in this case resistance or impedance is directly proportional to frequency. So now we have three elements, that is resistance, inductance and capacitance. For inductance XL, that is its reactance is L omega, and for capacitance it is 1 by C omega. That means both the XL and XC depends upon frequency. So only the component or the circuit element which is independent of frequency will be resistance. So for this graph, the circuit element will be resistance. And now if we talk about this graph, as you know XL is L omega. Now from here you can see as we increase frequency, opposition to current is increasing with it. So that means if omega is increasing, XL also increases. That means for this circuit element is impedance. The circuit element is inductor. Impedance is the effective resistance. So this will be the inductor and this will be the resistance. Okay. Okay, so the next is question number 4. In question number 4, you are given a capacitor, a lamp and an alternating source of EMF is connected with it. Okay, so now first part says if the capacitance is reduced, what will be the effect on the brightness of lamp? Okay, so now you know XC is 1 by C omega. If capacitance is reduced, that means XC will increase. Now if the resistance or you can say reactance is increasing, that means current will decrease because this is nothing but opposition to current. So if XC is increasing, current will decrease. Therefore, the brightness of the bulb will also decrease. Okay. Okay, so the second part says what will be the effect on the brightness if frequency is decreased. Now, if I put the value of omega, that is 2 pi nu. Now, if nu is decreased, again XC will increase. Again, due to increase in XC, current will decrease. Therefore, brightness will again reduce. So, in both the cases, brightness will reduce. Okay, so the fifth question says there are two coils, coil A and B. And when an alternating source of EMF is connected to coil A, there is a current in coil B. So, in the first part, you have to tell what is the phenomena involved in this. So, as you know, mutual inductance is involved in this. That is, due to the change in current in first coil, a EMF is induced in second coil. So mutual inductance. And the second part of the question asks, On what factors does this current depends? So it depends upon change in magnitude of AC current in coil A. For example, if more faster the coil is changed, in this also current will induce faster. Second is time period of AC. That is, as you know, alternating current keeps changing its polarity. That is, for some time it is positive, for some time it is negative. So it will depend on that polarity also. If smaller the time period, faster will be the change in the current. Okay. Okay, so the next is sixth question. It says that when a copper sheet is inserted between the two coils, what will be the effect on the brightness of the bulb be? Now, as you know, copper is a conducting material, so therefore copper sheet is a conducting sheet. Now, as you know, in metals, eddy currents are produced, so eddy current effect will come into place, and therefore the brightness of bulb will reduce due to the eddy current effect. In the seventh question, it is given that capital F is your resonant frequency. So I am denoting it by FR. Okay. And F is the normal frequencies. Okay. So first, so there are two parts which says you have to tell that whether the current will lag behind or it will lead the voltage when frequency is less than resonant frequency and when frequency is greater than resonant frequency. So let us talk about it. So now, as you know, XC is 1 by C omega and XL is L omega. So now if in this case, if you increase frequency, this will decrease. But now in this case, if you increase frequency, XL will also increase. Okay, now let us come to the graph. As you have drawn this graph between the impedance and omega r, omega, and this is the midpoint is omega r, that is resonant frequency. Okay, now if we look in this part, first half part, if frequency is increased, the impedance is decreasing. Okay, so this is this only. If frequency is increased, the impedance or reactance is decreasing. Okay, so that means you can say this part is capacitive in nature. Okay, and if you look at this part, if omega is increased, Z is also increasing. That is this. If omega is increased, XL is also increasing. So you can say this part is inductive in nature. Okay. So that means when omega is less than omega r, or if small f is less than fr, we have capacitance. And in capacitance, as you know, the current leads. So this will be this case. When your frequency, okay, so when f is less than fr, so this is the case here, f is less than fr, so this will lead, and when f is greater than fr, the current will lag behind. That is in this case. Okay, or you can say when fr is greater than f, that is when fr is greater than f, we have capacitive nature, so that means current will lead, and in this it will lag. Okay, so the eighth part of the question, you are given the value of inductance, value of capacitance is asked, resistance is given, and voltage and frequency is given. So in the question it is given that your effective impedance is equals to resistance only, that is Z is equals to R. So or Z is, now as you know, the value of Z is under root R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So if Z is coming equal to R, that means XL will be equal to XC, or you can say L omega will be equal to 1 by C omega. Now from here, if you calculate the value of C, that will come to be 1 upon omega square L. Now as you know, omega is 2 pi nu. So C will come to be 1 upon 2 pi nu whole square into L. Now L is given to you in question. Nu is also given to you in question, and you know the value of 2 pi. So just put the values and you will get the value of capacitance. Okay, so the ninth question asks why the core of transformer has high permeability. Due to the high permeability, we mean that there will be more magnetic field lines which can enter inside the core. So the first reason is that so that more magnetic field lines can enter inside the core, we have high permeability, and second is leakage of magnetic flux is less. So if it is attracting more and more magnetic field lines, the leakage of magnetic flux will be very less due to the high permeability. Okay, so the 10th question says, there is an alternating source of current which has a frequency of 50 hertz. Okay, so in your question hertz is missing, so write down hertz also. Okay, now it is asking what will be the time required for the current to reach its peak value. Now you know the alternating current is denoted by I is equals to I naught sine omega t, and I naught is nothing but the peak value. So from here if I calculate I is equals to I naught, that is only possible when sine omega t is equals to 1. So I is equals to I naught is possible when sine omega t is equals to 1. Now as you know sine 90 is 1, so omega t is nothing but 90, or you can say pi by 2. So if omega t is pi by 2, and now you know the value of omega also, that is 2 pi nu. So from here we'll get 2 pi nu into t is equals to pi by 2. So pi will cancel out and you will get value of t to be 1 upon 4 nu. Just put the value of nu to be 50 hertz. So when you will solve it, you will get 5 milliseconds. So this is the time required by the alternating current to reach its peak value, that is 5 milliseconds. Okay, so in the 11th question, you have to calculate the final charge on the capacitor when energy stored is equally between magnetic and electric in LC oscillations. Okay, so now you know the energy stored is q square upon 2c. This we have you have done in your theory lectures. So initial maximum energy is q square upon 2c. This we know already. Now, after the energy of capacitance and inductors become half. Okay, so let us suppose after some time the energy of capacitor and inductor has become half. So that means now the energy on capacitor will be half of q square upon 2c because it has just become half. Okay, so mark it first equation and leave it there. Now q dash, let us suppose q dash is the final charge on the capacitor when energy stored is equally between magnetic and electric. Okay, initial the charge was q as it was given in question. I am supposing that q dash is the charge when energy is equally distributed. So if q dash is the charge, then energy on the capacitor will be q dash square upon 2c. Final energy when the energy has distributed into two parts. So mark it second point. So now this first point and the second point both have nothing but the energy stored in the capacitor when the energy is equally distributed between magnetic and electric. So by putting 1 and 2 equal, you will get q dash square upon 2c is equals to half of q square upon 2c. From here 2c will cancel out and value of q dash will come to be q upon under root 2. Okay, so by equating these two equations, we have calculated the final value of charge when the energy will get distributed equally between electric and magnetic in LC oscillations. Okay. Okay, so in 12th question, value of R is given to be 20 ohms, L is given to be 1.5 Henry, and capacitance is given to be 35 microfarad. And value of EV is also given, that is 200 volt. Okay, so now it says if Z is equals to R, that is impedance is completely due to resistance, then what will be power factor and power required. So now if Z is equal to R, now you know the value of cos phi, that is power factor is R by Z. So if R and Z are equal, it will come to be 1. Okay, so now only the power is only due to resistance, and as you know the formula due to that is P is equals to EV IV cos phi. Now if cos phi is 1, that means power will only be equal to EV IV. Now from Ohm's law you know V is equals to IR, that means I will be equal to V upon R. Or we can say IV will be equal to EV upon R. Now EV is given to be 200, again EV is 200 and R is 20 ohms. So when you will solve it, you will get power to be 2000 watts. So this power will be required. Okay, so the 13th question asks why the capacitor blocks the DC voltage. So now first thing is that for a DC voltage the frequency is 0. Okay, because it does not have any oscillations. Okay, so now as you know XC is 1 by C omega. So if frequency is 0, that means omega is 0. And if omega is 0, XC will become infinite. That means infinite resistance will be offered to the current flowing. That means it will not flow. So therefore your capacitor always blocks the DC. Okay, so the 14th question says what will be the effect on the current if we increase frequency in a alternating EMF. Okay, so now you know the graph between frequency and current. So this is the graph and the midpoint is nothing but your resonant frequency. Okay, so now from here you can see as we increase the frequency, the current goes on increasing. It reaches its maximum value, and after the resonant frequency, it starts decreasing with the increase in frequency. So same will be the answer. As omega increases, current will increase, it will reach to its peak value, and after that the current will start decreasing. Okay. Okay, so the last question of assignment says there are two devices X and Y. When X is used in the circuit, the current leads voltage by 45 degrees, and when X is replaced by Y, the current lags behind voltage by 45 degrees. Now you have to identify the devices X and Y. Okay, so now let us draw a graph. This is your VR, that is voltage due to resistance. This is your VL, which is leading behind, which is at an angle of 45 degree with your voltage, and this is your VC, which is at an angle of 45 degree again with the VR. But now, as you can see, VL is leading and VC is lagging behind. Okay, so now you know current leads voltage when the capacitor is used. So X will be the capacitor, and current lags voltage when the inductor is used. So Y will be your inductor. Okay. Now you have to calculate what will be the power factor. So now, as you know, VL and VC are inclined at same angle with VR. Therefore, VL should be equal to VC. And if VL is equal to VC, that means XL will also be equal to XC. So the value of cos phi, that is power factor, is R by Z. So that will come to be 1, because Z is under root R square plus XL minus XC whole square. If XL and XC are equal, then XL minus XC will become 0. So Z will also be equal to R. So cos phi will come to be 1. Okay, so this was the assignment of your solution. This was a solution of your assignment, and I hope all the questions are clear. Thank you.